Hello everybody, Shannon Lee Smith, Cards by Shannon Lee, here today going to create a card for the Craft Roulette show on YouTube. If you have never watched Craft Roulette, it is a card making game show that they choose elements to create your card, and you submit your card electronically by just uploading a picture of your card. And the parameters for this week's card, and this is June 21st, 2024. The project is Dude's card. The colors are dragon. The element is basket. And the random is chart. So what I am going to do is create a dude ranch. That's my project. Is going to be a dude ranch. My colors are going to be grays and browns, like a gray and brown dragon. My element is, I have these two embossing folders here that are like basket weaves. So I'm going to use one of these two for a background, or for a mat. And then the random is chart. I'm going to use, hold on, I have to take it off of my wall here. Just a second. Okay, I use my Copic coloring chart so to choose my colors for my card. And this is a hex chart by Sandy Alnock. Her website is artclasses.com/charts, and you can purchase, you can download this chart. I believe it's $5 or somewhere around that range, but that's what I'm going to use to choose my colors for my card. So let me just rehang that. I had originally just wanted to show you some coloring. Excuse my whistle. This is an older stamp set from Clearly BESOTTED, which it looks like Clearly BESOTTED is going out of business. They haven't had any new releases in a while, and I believe the owner is now designing for My Favorite Things. This stamp set is called On the Farm, and it has, this is my farm animals for my dude ranch. Okay, so let's get started. I'm going to start by zooming in some. This is going to be Copic coloring heavy, so what I'm going to do is speed this up and let you listen to some music while I do my coloring. Now I'm going to take this off screen and use my scan and cut to cut these images out, then we'll create our card. I'll be right back. Looks like I forgot to turn on the camera, so let me explain what I've just done. I've done some ink blending with some Sandcastle ink by Catherine Pooler, ink blended around the perimeter of this basket weave embossed panel. Then after I blended the ink, I dragged my ink pad across the embossed the bumpy side so it would pick up the ink on the little weaves. Now it looks really splotchy right now. This will smooth out as it dries, so I'm not worried about it. It looks kind of like a hot mess right now. It is a little wrinkly because of being embossed, and I guess, yeah. Anyways, so we're gonna set this aside. Next I have a stamp set called Farmhouse from Cat Scrappiness, and I have stamped the barn onto a panel. This is 4x6 panel of white cardstock. This is Hammermill 80 pound. So I stamped it on there, see, underneath, and I also stamped a mask on some Eclipse masking paper. I fussy cut that out and I put that on my panel. Now we're going to use the Stencil Builder stencil, which is my favorite stencil as of late. And we are going to, let's see, let me clean this mess up a little bit here. Stencil some clouds and some hills. I think we should start with the hills first. So what I'm going to do, and the way that this stencil works is there are cuts in here so that you can slide your cardstock in between the different cuts to get the different designs. So the first two that I showed you are the clouds, then there's 3 hillsides, and then this straight grassy border here. That's actually the mask. If you want to do the grassy border, you do it the opposite way and stencil it here. I think we'll start with that. And no, I think we're going to start with the hillside because the hillside we want darker. So we're going to have it come just behind the barn. So I'm going to have it come up higher than the barn itself. Is that where I want that? Let's see. Oh, that was good. I think we'll have it right there. That looks good. And I also have this little spinny table. I don't know what it's called. I can't remember. It's by We Are Memory Keepers, or We Are... I don't know what their new name is. Anyways, I also have a waffle flower grip mat in, I think it is 4 1/4 by 8 1/2. And my waffle flower blending brush. Blending brush. My Catherine Pooler ink in Lime Ricky. And I'm going to tap this on here. Then we'll drag the ink. It's a little bit heavy. Do it heaviest on the border there. And then come just below the barn. Then we'll give it some... Now, when you're wanting to show perspective, I believe what you want to do is the hills in the back should be darker, and as they come closer, they should be lighter. So I'm going to make this first hill, which is the farthest back, the darkest. Okay, let me grab my rag here, wipe this off the stencil, and we'll move this down. Really grabs onto your stencil. Okay, the next hill, I'll move it we'll do it right about here. Have it overlap the last hill just a little. Tap some ink onto my brush, and tap, tap, tap onto the stencil, and drag that ink close to the edge of the stencil, just coming just off of the stencil. Do a little light blending. leaving it kind of light in this area here. Clean this off again. Oops. Peel up our stencil again. Gosh, this is really sticky. I didn't realize it's not as sticky on the paper. And the portions that I miss here will come back afterwards and darken that up. There we go. I'm just going to take the ink that I tapped onto the lid of the ink pad. I can give it a lot more pressure. It's not very dark. I do want it a little darker, closer to the edge of the stencil. Going to have green fingers after this. Okay, I think now I want to do my grassy border area. Slide that, oh, I'm doing it backwards, this way. Line that up with the bottom of the stencil, so make sure it's straight and not coming out at an angle. A little bit off here. Call that good. Just blending this. I'm going to speed this up while I finish blending the whoops, my paper moved. If you're wondering what that noise is, that is my dog snoring. I'm not sure if you can hear it. I know you can probably hear me breathing. The camera is right in front of my face, so occasionally you can hear me inhale and exhale. Okay, that's beside the point. Okay, so pulling this off. There we go. Now we'll just come in here with what the ink that's remaining on my brush and darken up these spots that there isn't very much ink. There we go. Done with that. Next, we're going to do this, use the same stencil, but we're going to do the cloudy sky. If I can get my paper off of the off of the sticky mat. Okay, we're going to do a nice blended sky with the clouds. I usually like to go at an angle like this, using It's a Boy ink by Catherine Pooler. I already have some ink on the lid here. I'm going to start with that. That doesn't look like enough, so we're going to get some more off the ink pad, tap it off, then pull it from the stencil. And I want the dark ink to be right on the edge of the stencil. Just keep pulling that until I'm content with the saturation of that ink. And then I'm going to take the remaining ink that's on my brush and blend that sky. There we go. Use my rag to wipe that up. Pull my stencil up. I'm not going to get very many cloud configurations in here. Move that over just a bit to the opposite side. Ink up my brush. Tap a little bit. Actually, I want that ink. This ink is very light, so. And I'm going to ink around the top of the barn. There we go. And after my edge of my cloud is nice and saturated, take the remaining ink, just blend it slightly so it's not so stark white cloud. Wipe the residual ink off of the stencil. Lift this up. You have to be careful when you're lifting up the stencil. I don't want to rip the stencil. I think we have room for one more cloud configuration there. Ink up my brush. I'm going to speed this up for you. I'm going to just take the remaining ink and go over the cloud here, over here. There we go. Now I need my, I think I can probably pick this up off with my fingernail. There we go. Remove my mask and there's my barn. I'm going to color the barn off screen. I'll be right back and we'll put our card together. This is the second time that I forgot to hit record when I'm putting together this card. So I've started gluing on all of the pieces. The sentiments that I have are from the Farmhouse Sentiments from Cat Scrappiness, and we're using Hey There and How's It Going. I figure that's perfect for my dude ranch here. And I wasn't sure, I knew the term dude ranch, but I didn't know what a dude ranch was. So I just looked it up, and apparently dude used to refer to what it says on Google is an urbanite or a city goer, and they used to, they found out the city goers, the East Coast city goers used to found out that it was a nice vacation to go stay on a ranch. So the Western ranches would host them, and eventually they started charging for their stays at the ranch. So there you go, a little bit of history for you. My brother-in-law would be so proud. Anyways, so here we go. There's my card for the Craft Roulette. I want to know, leave me a comment. Have you watched Craft Roulette before? I will leave a link in the description box below to check out this week's episode. I hope you like my card. Thanks for stopping by. Bye for now.